It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up.
It is a good day. We don't have much sunshine here in Vancouver. How about you in California, Jocelyn? Do you have some sunshine in California?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you do. I think I need to come and see you soon. Anyhow, Risers and Thrivers, welcome back to the podcast, to the show. We're super excited to have you here with us today. We hope you really appreciated the last show. Gosh, it was a really informative and excellent show all about palliative care and how we can best support our loved ones in a palliative care setting to really maximize today. We had our expert guest, Dr. Nadine Prasad, who really talked about, creating those meaningful moments, sitting in humility, in the ability to sit in discomfort, the often undervalued gift of our time and our presence, and that ability just to sit and be. Anyhow, it was a fabulous show. If you or anyone you know are facing a palliative care scenario at this time, please share the show. It was a fabulous burst of inspiration and insight to best serve people in that phase. And today, gosh, I am just so excited for this show ahead. Now, I can't wait to introduce you, Risers and Thrivers, to this incredible girl sitting with us today, Super Jocelyn. She is at all of 11 years old. She is this incredible cancer warrior and cancer survivor. She has overcome leukemia, and gosh, she has just been through so much. I just want to say, just as I introduce her, at only 7 years old, she was diagnosed with a really aggressive version of acute leukemia. And during her 2.5-year battle, she faced, guess what? Listen up, 861 days of treatments, 22 lumbar punctures, and I can speak from experience. Those are not fun. 112 port accesses, 3 bone aspirations, 21 blood transfusions, 126 days of steroids, which are brutal for adults, let alone for kids, 65 days as an inpatient, 11 different types of chemotherapies, and 7 chemo regimens. But throughout it all, this little small but mighty burst of inspiration in front of us, she never lost hope. And she is such an incredible force. And I'm so happy, Jocelyn, welcome here today, and welcome your mom with you here today too, Tracy. I'm so happy to have you both with us today.
Thank you for having both of us. We really appreciate it.
We're just so thrilled. Now, we've been trying to get this show on the books for quite a while, and I'm really happy to have this in fruition. Now, we've connected through Instagram. Gosh, I can't even imagine, so long ago now, but it seems like I've been following your story for so long, Jocelyn, and you're just such an inspiration to so many. And I've got so many questions for you, and I just know you're going to inspire my audience with all that you've gone through, and with the energy, and with the mindset that you've prevailed through it all. It's remarkable that you've been able to do this as a young child, let alone adults going through this experience. And I want to say something before we get going, because without even knowing it, someone like you really inspired me on my path, because as you know, I too have survived leukemia. And I remember going in for my whole body radiation. Now, I don't know if you've had that, but we can talk about that soon. And I remember saying then, I don't know why this crossed my mind at the time, but I remember saying to my physicians, and I said, where do the children here? We live in British Columbia in Canada. And I said, where do the children go for their whole body radiation? Because these units are very, not common to have throughout at hospitals in British Columbia. And they said, oh, the children actually come here. And that moment for me was, goodness gracious, get yourself together, Erica Jane. Like, if a child can do this, you can do this. And so without you even knowing it, you and all of your cohorts who have gone through leukemia at such a young age really inspired me on my path to really pull my strength together and persevere. So I just want to say you're just absolutely remarkable. But tell us, Jocelyn, if you can tell us a little bit about what was life before cancer? I always say my world was forever divided in two, before cancer and after cancer. And you were just 7. So tell me, what did you love to do before cancer?
My whole life was pretty much actually soccer. I played for SC City and Rec at the exact same time. And I also loved hanging out with my dog Sally and doing art.
Okay. And now what position did you play in soccer?
I played defense and was it mid? Yeah.
Okay. And so what grade were you in then?
I was in 2nd grade.
Well,
You were in
first and 2nd grade. And
okay.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, you started playing soccer
I played
in kindergarten.
Okay. Okay. And then tell me, did you start to feel unwell at any point? Did you have less energy on the soccer fields? Or tell me how this all came about.
We were actually on vacation when I started getting sick. We were in Yosemite.
In Yosemite, were you hiking?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay. Gosh, I bet that was probably feeling a little bit strenuous.
Actually, I didn't start feeling that bad until I got home.
I
had like a cough at first, and then it started getting worse when we got home.
Okay. And so when did Mom start to realize there was something a little bit off?
Actually, when we got back from Yosemite and she just had a barky cough, and took her to the doctors, and they said that she probably had bronchitis, and they did a breathing treatment, gave her some antibiotics, and we were on our way. And she took the antibiotics. She got better, but I wouldn't say she was 100%. And then she ended up getting a swollen lymph node on the side of her neck. That wasn't palatable. It was didn't hurt to touch. All the signs that I had, that mommy gut feeling that things were a little off. And then during soccer, you would see that she was really exhausted. I mean, she did play a lot. So you kind of, okay, she's just tired from the game. And then her legs would be sore. That was the other big one. Mom, my legs hurt. So you don't know if they're growing pains or if it's from soccer or if it was something a little more sinister that was going on at the time. And then she started running fevers. It was probably about, we went in July. I would say the end of August. She started, beginning of September, she started to run fevers. Like it was Labor Day weekend. We had a pool party. You wouldn't have known that she was sick. She was running around, having a good time with her friends. And then she ended up running a fever that night. And then it ran like every other day. And each time she ran one, I took her to the doctors. And the first time they said that she had a sinus infection. And then the second time I took her in, they said it wasn't a sinus infection. It was more than likely allergies. And then she ran one more, and I called them up and I said, I'm not going to wait, because each time I asked for blood work, and they're like, no, she's okay. And then the last time I took her straight to Rady's, I called them up and I said, I'm taking her straight to the hospital. We're going to do some blood work. And I'm not waiting anymore. And I think that was more mommy gut instinct than anything else. But a lot of it, I give them the benefit of the doubt because I also had cancer 2 years to the date prior to her diagnosis. So it's probably not very normal to have two families or two members in one family to have cancer. So, I think that they were just trying to make sure they were calming my nerves, and it's not very often that two family members probably get diagnosed. So I love her doctor, and, I think everything's a learning experience, and
we can all only do the best we can, whether
exactly.
the doctor's wearing the white coats, everyone's just trying the best they can. And I hear your perspective wholeheartedly there as well. Jocelyn, but you felt pretty crummy. Is that right by this point? Yeah, I bet. And can I ask you a question? Were you having any sweats at night? Do you remember like your sheets getting kind of sticky and wet, or your pajamas needing to change? Did you have any of that? No.
The only thing I noticed was her body felt like it was on fire. There wasn't a lot of sweating going on, but it was like her body felt like if you touched her, her body felt like it was on fire.
Do you know, I felt that too, Jocelyn. It's interesting you said that. I kept saying to people, I feel like I've got such a hot head right now. Like my head just felt like it was just exploding with heat. I didn't put my symptoms together at all. I was having these crazy night sweats. I was having, I had this rash, believe it or not, Jocelyn, on my eyelids. And then again on the dorsal surface of both of my hands right here. And as a chiropractor, I have to tell you, that wasn't the best. What else did I have? Gosh, I can't even recall. But, I had all these sporadic symptoms. But as a young mom, Tracy, as you know well, you often underplay what you're going through. And as you're caring for others. And I just assumed all young moms were that tired. And I missed putting together all these pieces, probably the same for you. You missed the cough being associated with all these other things. But we all need to pay attention to these screams, because I believe that our body talks to us. It's trying to tell us, hey, something's a bit off. Do you think that too, Jocelyn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I noticed too was that she was losing weight, but she was getting taller. So they said that because she was getting taller, she was just leaning out. But I remember buying, because she was diagnosed at second grade. It was 2 weeks into second grade, and I bought her school clothes that fit her when I bought them. But when she went to school, was it a month later after I bought the clothes, the clothes were falling off of her. Wow. So I do remember that too. And, those are more signs that, that something was lurking.
And I can't imagine you in your role, Tracy, because I always say cancer, doesn't just impact the patient, right, Jocelyn? It impacts everybody around you too. And, when mom is watching and knowing in her inside that something's probably quite off, and yet the doctors are kind of saying, oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's a really hard position to be in. You feel very conflicted. You don't want to think the worst, but you want to make sure your child is okay. And it's a really difficult time to navigate. So I'm really proud of you, because I always say that we all have to be the hero in our own stories. And in turn, you had to advocate for that blood work. But at the end of the day, those doctors, again, just do the best they can. You're the one in your body. And so if anyone's listening and you're hearing these screams in your body, be your best advocate and tune into that, and just advocate for whatever it is you feel you need, because oftentimes we are right. And anyhow,
I always say go with your mommy gut, because 99% of the time you're going to be right.
Yeah, I agree.
And advocate like a mother.
Yeah, and tune in and self-reflect. So Jocelyn, tell me, after you do these labs, tell me then what happens? Do you hear these terrible words, you have cancer, or how did it all play out?
Actually, we had to go to my mom's oncology appointment after. Okay. And so my mom's friend Michelle stayed in the car with me, because I couldn't go in because I was having the fevers. So I couldn't go in with my mom. So my mom's friend stayed in the car with me, and then my mom came out, and I don't remember the rest.
Yeah, I came out of my oncology appointment because I got a phone call when I was in there, and they said, you need to take your daughter back to the hospital ASAP. We need to rerun her blood work. They said, we don't like telling you over the phone, but we think she has leukemia. And so I rushed her back, and they redid her blood work. And then
Tracy, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
Did you tell her anything about it at this point?
No, I didn't tell her that that's what they thought it was. But she could definitely read me pretty well. And definitely she was upset and anxious that she was, didn't want to go back and have it done again. Yeah. She's never liked arm pokes. What kid likes arm pokes? Yeah. So she didn't want to go back. So she was crying, and
of course,
was trying to get, back to the hospital as fast as I could. And then did the blood work, and they came right back. It was not very long at all. And he goes, she's got leukemia. Her doctor came in and he goes, she has leukemia.
Sorry, was she with you at this point?
Yep. Mm-hmm. But they had they had people in there distracting her a lot.
I see.
Yeah. They have family liaisons and social workers and stuff in there that were helping her, and had like different toys and games and drawings.
I was trying to draw with my left hand.
Yeah, because she had the arm
do
poke.
it.
Yeah. So they
you, Jocelyn, with leukemia, how fast your world changes. You know, I felt like the entire world I had known before was just ripped out from under my feet in the matter of literally seconds. Like I too had that same call that you had after I went for my labs. I had my 2 babies in tow with me, Jocelyn. I went for this, you know, what I thought was a really routine lab. And when I had been pregnant with my firstborn son, who's now 16, big boy, I had been diagnosed just with a small little glitch in my thyroid hormone. And so I would go for these quote unquote routine labs every now and then just to make sure that the medication I was taking was at a good level, if that makes sense. And I hadn't been for a long time. As a mom, I was prioritizing everyone else. I've sure learned a lot, but I was prioritizing everyone else and had put perhaps my needs on the back burner, right? And so on this one day, I went in to catch up on this lab and had both my babies with me. And we went to the Vancouver Aquarium right after Jocelyn. And I had these 2 little sets of legs beaming off ahead. And I had a call. And I almost didn't answer this call because I thought, well, the reception in the aquarium here in Vancouver is terrible. And, you know, I didn't really want anything to interrupt our great day. We had plans for our day ahead. We were going to go for a picnic, and we had plans to go for a holiday to the lake soon after that. And it was my oldest, his 5th birthday party was around the corner. We had so much on the go. Anyhow, I answered the call, and there was a sound of urgency and panic saying, is this Erica Harris? Is this Erica Harris? And he identified himself as calling from the lab. And he said, right away, you need to go to the nearest emergency room and avoid all public places. And I didn't even think could be true because it was so fast after I'd had that lab run. It was maybe, I kid you not, maybe less than 20 minutes from A to B, from the time I had the lab to the time I'm getting this call. And I literally told them, Jocelyn, you have the wrong person. You've confused my results with someone else's. I'm fine. I'm standing in the most public of public places as we speak. I'm 100% okay. So, with leukemia, I just want our audience to really know, your world is pulled out from underneath your feet in seconds. And I cannot imagine what that would have been like as a 7-year-old child. What did you understand of it at this point, Jocelyn?
I didn't know that I had it until maybe a couple days in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he came in and told us that she had leukemia, he basically said, you're not going home. You're going to be here for the next month. Have somebody pack stuff at your house and bring it to you. You're not leaving here. You're getting directly admitted. So we didn't tell her that leukemia, was necessarily cancer. She just heard the word leukemia. I, being a cancer survivor, know what cancer is, but I didn't know the whole picture of leukemia, and how difficult of a cancer it really is. It's pretty scary. I mean, I had ovarian cancer, and I went through the whole gamut of it. I had surgery, I had a radical hysterectomy, and I had 18 sessions of chemo. I did it all. She made mine look like a cakewalk.
Just so my audience can understand, I think what you're talking about is really important too, to understand. With leukemia, you are admitted right away. And it's because your bloodlines are all impacted. And so basically, Jocelyn was this huge risk for infections, right? She had no white blood cells or no functional white blood cells to fight any infections. Also, her platelets were probably impacted. And so she could have, she was at risk of bleeding. And also probably her red blood cells were also deficient. And so she was probably quite anemic, hence her fatigue on the soccer field. So because it impacts those bloodlines, that's our survival right there in a nutshell. And so that admission happens very, very quickly thereafter. And hence, like what I was talking about, like your entire world is just zipped in the blink of an eye. And it's so much. And I can't even imagine as a sweet 7-year-old. And so you're admitted to hospital now, Jocelyn. And what are you thinking about everything? Do you remember? No, I remember I kind of just went on autopilot and I was like, okay, just get through, right? And I think I created a shield for myself where it didn't really sink in for me what was happening all around me for several weeks. And for me, it was like this defining moment where my kids had come in to visit and all of a sudden this new nanny had been taking them home, Jocelyn. And I all of a sudden got really mad. I was like, this is my job. I want to be the one doing this. And as great as it was having people come in to see me, it was also really hard because they got to go home and live their life. They got to go home and have dinner with their families and they got to play soccer if they wanted, or, how did you feel about all that missing out?
I know, like when she first got diagnosed, that all she wanted to do is have friends visit. So she was diagnosed in September of 2019. So it was before COVID hit, and the hospital let family members come in and like friends come in,
and there was like fun, like the Legoland used to come in. And
I didn't get Legoland. Tell me more. I feel like I missed out.
And what else came in? The jewelry place came in for you to make jewelry.
They used to have tea parties for the kids to eat.
They did bingo.
Yeah, they did a lot of things. The children's hospitals they do a lot of things to help the children get to know each other, keep a positive atmosphere, and help parents also meet each other. And then, so that was when she first got diagnosed that first month, she was able to have friends come in because it hadn't been flu season yet. So friends got to come and visit. They would ride tricycles out on the oncology playground. It was really difficult, but she had that support system still coming in from her friends and family.
She had these meaningful moments created.
Yeah. And so, they had Legoland come in and they had a Halloween thing and they had a jewelry maker come in. They had a whole bunch of different things come in, which was amazing. And then COVID hit and that took everything away. And then the kids couldn't even go and meet each other. We could only have one parent if you were inpatient, or even going into clinic, you could only have one parent. God. It was really, really hard to go through any kind of cancer during COVID. It was a nightmare.
I can't even imagine. Now, tell me, did you feel like there were enough supports for yourself and for Dad? Jocelyn, do you have any siblings?
No, I'm
not. Or did you feel like there was enough, support for Mom and Dad on this path too? Like, were you able to, get the tools that you needed to stay strong and to cope and to help her, Tracy?
Yeah, she's in Girl Scouts, so it was really nice because the Girl Scouts would come and drop stuff off on the doorstep, or her friend Sam, one of her best friends across the street, they couldn't be with each other, so he would sit out on our porch and we'd open up the door and they'd play video games together. We did a lot of FaceTiming with some friends. What else did we do?
We did some art with my friend Casey.
Yeah, did art with her friend Casey online. And then even through one of her birthdays, it was during COVID, it was during her treatment. She couldn't be around anybody. And so we did Oh, it was like a.
It was like I had to find like these clues around the house, and then I got to go to one of my friends' house, and then they had a clue for me, and then I had to find the next house, the friend.
So she would stay in the car, and then she'd have a clue, and that for whoever she had to go see, and next, and then they would read her a rhyme to who she was going to go see next. So we tried to make sure we were kept things light and like as normal as you can through cancer and COVID, you know?
Yeah.
So we tried to keep things.
And then that
Positive.
led me back to my house where I found all my presents.
Okay. Now tell me, Jocelyn, what do you think was most helpful for you from things that your friends and family would do for you? What made the biggest impact for you on your spirits or on, you know, really keeping you going through those hard days? What was really helpful for you for things that other people did? And I'm asking so that, you know, if people are listening to the show today and they know somebody who's going through leukemia, or they know someone who's going through cancer, maybe share a few ideas that they can do for their loved ones that were really helpful for you.
Probably just play, have fun. Probably like just do what they want to do a lot.
I love that.
Friends.
Yeah.
I love that. Tracy, what did you find helpful for you as a mom?
A couple things. Our particular hospital, when COVID hit, because we couldn't meet, our hospital has a Zoom meetup for parents. And it's mainly always the moms, but that really helped me get through to have that support system with moms that were going through the same things that I was going through.
People who walk the walk and people who understood the journey makes such a difference. Yeah.
And they still do that. So like they do it once a month. We can get online. So that helps a lot. I have made great friends with like many friends through that. But what actually for me and probably for Jocelyn is when we started Jocelyn's Instagram and we started connecting with other families and other organizations. And we've come across a couple of different organizations that has been our life support and has introduced us to so many different families. And
can you name a few for our audience?
Yeah, I would say Campaign One at a Time has been.
Campaign One at a Time, Mitchell Thorpe Foundation. Who else? Pavlov. Who else? What's Jack's called?
Oh, Triumph Together.
Triumph Together.
LLS.
LLS.
LLS is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I think they're great too. I have to ask on that note, are you going to attend Light the Night this year?
Every year we do it. Every year. Yep.
Well, I'll be walking here in Vancouver, so I'll think of you that night.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, can you share with me also, like Jocelyn, if you close your eyes and think back to some of the hardest days, can you tell me what made for those hard days for you?
Probably getting access. I hated getting access.
Yeah, it's so hard to get access. And Jocelyn's referring to getting access by pokes and veins and IVs, I'm guessing. Is that right, Jocelyn?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when we're weak and when we're unwell, then it's really hard for the hospital staff to get access, isn't it? And it can be a real pain, right? I hear you on that. So how did you get through that? Did you develop any tricks or tools?
My nurse.
So Jocelyn was like the very first month, she would kick and scream and hit. And one of her nurses, one of her favorite nurses, Nurse Kat, taught her that she couldn't move. She could scream as loud as she wanted to, but she couldn't move. And from that moment on, like
the rest of the nurses,
it would have been noisy.
Yeah, the other nurses are like, whoa, but she wouldn't move. She learned to not move. And that
Yeah.
was her release, was just to be able to scream and get it out.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been on a pediatric oncology floor, there's a lot of screaming. There's a lot of crying. It is heartbreaking to be on an oncology floor for pediatric.
It's hard. I know my youngest son, he's a type 1 diabetic. And when he was first diagnosed, I can really relate to when you're saying, Jocelyn, the kicks and the screams. My youngest is like this, super sweetly natured little Buddha soul, and I had never seen any of this come out. He was just so full of hurt inside, and it all came out in that way. And so that's why I ask about those tools and the tricks that you developed over time. And so for us, we ended up having developed this needle, anxiety, and not good for a type 1 diabetic who sure needs a lot of needles, right? And so we went through this needle anxiety program. We found tricks and tools. We started with just looking at this needle, and if it would evoke, how many emotions, or on a scale of emotions of green, yellow, red, right? And then eventually he could put the needle on his skin, and just feel what emotions that would hold. And the longer he would leave it on, the less intense those emotions would come about. And then over time, he's now a little rock star with his needles too. But it's never easy, these are coping tools that we use to get through, but it still doesn't dismiss how hard it is. So I'm really proud of you for, that you're still smiling here today in this burst of little hope and inspiration that you are. You're just so remarkable. So tell me.
I think the other thing that actually really helped her too was I gave her control.
Yes.
So when you're accessed, they put a bandage over the top of that. And so when you get de-accessed, they have to remove this bandage. And so we would have the nurses like alcohol it down, or put the oilish stuff down. And then Jocelyn would actually remove her whole entire bandage. Yeah. And then they would de-access her. I would give her complete control. When kids go through this, all of your control is taken away. Cancer steals your control. And if you can have just a piece of it, that's one extra step to get you through it.
That's a great point and great piece of advice. That's so important, is to give them back their power in the ways we can. Just like you said, let's not kick, but let's scream. Give them some outlet that they can do to get out that hurt. Also, in the example I was sharing with my son, we now do, for any lab poke that he does, he's in control, and we tell the staff, you get one chance today. And so he goes in feeling really strong, knowing that they get one chance. And if they miss it that day, we might have to come back later that day or the next morning, but we talk about it first. And he's always in control of how that plays out. It was really hard for me though, because I've always taught my kids, you're in control of your bodies, right? Like, you get to say what happens to your body. And when we were going through this with my son, I remember he was like just looking at me saying, Mommy, you told me I get to decide, and you told me you'd protect me. I'm telling you, no, I don't want them poking me. Right. That was so hard for me too, because then trying to explain, oh gosh, well, reroute from what I told you, like there are certain times for your health and wellness that we'll need to do these pokes, but it's really hard to do in that moment when you're in a crisis. And so anyhow, I think those are all really good pointers that you brought up. So
the other thing too is that her hospital, anytime that they get an arm poke or have to access their port, they get to pick a toy out of the toy box too.
I like that.
That was always a little encouragement to be able to get through it.
But most of the time they didn't have that many good toys, or like
through COVID, they didn't have anything.
They didn't have like anything through COVID.
So what did you do for that?
I raised a lemonade stand and donated all the toys to the box.
Aw, how did you do that? You did this while you had cancer?
Yeah.
Aw, tell me more.
So like
it was right after Frontline.
It was after Frontline. And I did a lemonade, and my mom posted it on Instagram, and like all people came to get lemonade.
Mm-hmm. She made over $800
No.
Her and her friend, that was her first lemonade stand. So.
Me and my friend, he did like the lemonade and I stole the lemonade or something like that.
But they went into Target and they bought $800 worth of toys, and she took it all into Rady's and dumped it in the toy box for all the kids. She said it wasn't fair that the kids didn't get to pick something during COVID.
Oh, I think that's incredible. How did that make you feel, Jocelyn, doing that for others?
Good.
It was the igniter of all her fundraising. That was the start of it. Like she got the itch after that, and really.
Okay, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me everything you've done, Jocelyn.
After. Yes.
She said to tell her more. What else have you done?
I did more lemonade stands. I've done a hot cocoa stand in the winter, and I've also done flowers. Wait, I've done a flower stand.
Yeah, we did sunflowers.
Oh, sunflowers are my favorite.
Yeah, we did sunflower stand at the end of summer.
I have.
Yeah,
I don't
that
remember.
was when you were getting your campaign. You did that one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. What else? What other? We've done LLS. She was LLS Girl of the Year, and did a little fundraising then. And then I was that was in 2021, and then I did.
Mommy did.
Woman of the Year.
Mommy of the Year.
Woman of the Year.
I can tell that, Jocelyn. I can tell she's Mommy of the Year. That's for sure. You know, I just want to highlight to my audience, like risers and thrivers, listen up, because, you know, being of service and contribution, even in the face of struggle and adversity, is one of the ways that we rise and that we thrive. We can always give back, no matter where we're at in our circumstance, even in just the smallest of ways. And whether that's just by sharing a smile and lighting up somebody else's day, or by doing a lemonade stand or a sunflower stand, we can always be of service and of contribution. And I feel like when we give up our role and our purpose in this world, you know, that is just not good for our success overall. And I really admire you, Jocelyn, for taking, you know, mustering up the energy, because I can't even imagine how hard that must have been in that time. Some days it was a feat of feats just to get up and get dressed and shower, let alone to do a lemonade stand. And I just admire you so much. But I really want to highlight to all of my audience that that is such a way of rising and surviving and thriving, is to always being of service and of contribution, even in the smallest of possible ways that we can. Would you agree with that, Tracy?
Most definitely. I think actually that is one of the huge things that got us through as a family. We were able to put our focus into something else, something that was positive, and giving back. When Jocelyn was diagnosed, the first thing that we said, my husband and I, were giving back to all of the foundations that have given to us, you know, and that got us through. We want to be able to give back to them. And so once she hit maintenance, that was like the start of all of our fundraising. And it has continued since she's been done with treatment. But definitely, like during treatment, it was like the one thing that really, really got us through. We did Mitchell Thorpe. We did
Camping One Time. Paddle Love. Right?
Yes.
LS.
Hearts and Hooves.
Hearts and Hooves.
There's a lot of them. But so I did the 2021 Woman of the Year for LLS and raised $70,000. We've done just in September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So this past September, we did
every single fact for the. We did. I did. You forgot to do some. Anyways, I did a fact of childhood cancer every single day of that whole month.
I saw that. It was super inspirational. It was really incredible. You generated a lot of awareness, and you created a lot of support for other people going through cancer even now. Your work is phenomenal. And I always just want to encourage everyone listening, listen to this 11-year-old. She is full of wisdom and insight. It is so important to pay it forward and live a life of purpose in the ways that we are able. And look at her just shining forth despite all she has been through. Tell me, Jocelyn, how was that day when you rang the bell?
It was really fun.
Tell me how you felt about yourself.
Proud.
Yes.
Ready to start a new life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What were some of the first things you wanted to get back into after you rang that bell of remission?
I really wanted to get back into soccer
Not a
and
girl.
go back to like happen at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How are
Disney.
you doing school?
And
Can I ask that?
Disney.
How are you doing school when you were in the hospital, Jocelyn?
Well, it was kind of COVID school or other school.
So when you first got diagnosed?
When I first got diagnosed and I came back to home, a teacher from my school, Miss Webb, she actually homeschooled me. And then when the COVID hit, everybody went online, so I got to go back online.
Okay.
It
So
was
all kind of the same.
hard.
Yeah, I bet.
I can't think of any other person that can sit in class online and get up and go get sick from being nauseous so bad and then come back and get right back into class.
Wow.
I know as an adult, I would have I'm out for the day. I'm done. I'm going to go back to bed.
I feel better after.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying, Jocelyn, because again, just like you were talking about before, Tracy, when you're giving back and serving, it shifts your focus, it shifts your energy. And so for her to get back into that school zone, right, shifts her focus, shifts her energy,
Yep.
and it's so beneficial for our health. I think that's really remarkable. Tell me, Jocelyn, survivorship, just as soon as you get into remission, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, this is just great. You've survived and everything's easy, right? Tell me, how has it been since you rang that bell with your health?
It's been really fun. I got to play soccer again.
Have you had some?
Oh yeah.
I think you've still had quite a few ups and downs, right? Yeah, survivorship is tricky too. It's just different tricky, isn't it? We face lots of different things that people sometimes don't expect. So tell me, how do you feel when you go back for blood tests and rechecks and all of that now?
I just don't like getting blood work. I just hate getting blood work still. I just hate that.
Yeah.
The rest of the things that I get, sometimes when my friends are in a room, I get to go back and see and say hi to them, and then we get to go. So we get to do that sometimes.
Because together we're stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So actually, her next appointment is tomorrow.
Okay.
So it'll be a year and 8 months out of treatment tomorrow.
When's my last one?
Huh?
When's my last one?
A year and 6
I
months?
get to go for 3 months.
I don't know. I think that's next year.
Dang it.
January.
Jocelyn, can you do me a favor? We're starting to get low on time. Can you do me a favor? If someone is going through cancer now as a 7-year-old or even as a 47-year-old, big girl like me, tell me what tips and tools and tricks can you give to them to help them rise and survive and even thrive with that smile that you have on your face every single day?
Do what you love. Get your friends to buy you a lot of pets help.
I love that. Do more of what you love. I love that. That's, often underestimated, even for people busy at work, right? There's a lot of talk. I don't know if you know this big word called burnout, Jocelyn, but people get fatigued, as I'm sure you did too on your path, right? You're just tired of having to fight every day. I bet you felt that at certain points. But when you do exactly what you said, doing more of what makes you happy, that in itself prevents burnout, believe it or not. And that is an excellent tool to keep motivation high and to keep going and to persevere. Did you celebrate your wins? Did you celebrate all of your successes along the way?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
did. Celebrate
it. I out of frontline. So for her, she had 9 months of frontline treatment, and then she went into maintenance. and in the end of Frontline, she was in the hospital for 25 days straight. And so when we got out of Frontline, we came home and we had a parade. It was COVID.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Huge parade, and all the neighbors
And
joined
Sally
in.
came out and licked my face.
And the neighbors wrote chalk all over the ground, but we had hundreds of cars go by. It was amazing. So we did
Jocelyn, can you do me a favor? Can you send me a photo of this?
Yeah.
I would love to see that. You know, I want to summarize a few things today for our risers and thrivers, for all of those listening today that are maybe going through hard days. A few of Jocelyn's tools that she talked about that were super important for her and for her beautiful mom, Tracy. You know, cancer just doesn't impact the patient, but it impacts the whole family and everyone who cares for that patient. So it's really important to reference that over and over again. But, you know, both Jocelyn and Tracy talked a lot about community and support and sharing that commonality of shared struggle and how important that is. They talked a lot about being of service and of contribution in the ways that they can be. And gosh, Jocelyn can just go on and on and on, from lemonade stands to making jewelry to helping other kids rise through this journey. And by doing so, it helped her rise. Giving back, giving kids back their power, right? Empowering them in the ways that we're able to. Anyone facing a health crisis feels as though all of their power has been taken from them. They feel so vulnerable. So being sure to give back power to those who are facing struggle is such an important gift. And one more, two more, but one more big one. Do more of what makes you happy, right? Simple but powerful lesson, and celebrate the wins. All of these tools will help you stay motivated on your path to persevere and to believe that tomorrow will be a better day. Tomorrow, Jocelyn, what are you doing after this show? You're going back to school?
Back to school.
Woo! And you're going to go play soccer maybe?
No, that's
Nope,
tomorrow.
not today. Tomorrow. I can't keep track. You're going to go play and hang out in the sunshine and have the sun on your face. And I want to encourage to all of our risers and thrivers who are going through dark days today to always know that the sun will shine again tomorrow, and hold on to that hope. Be inspired by Jocelyn and by her incredible mom, Tracy, and rise today, my friends. Thank you for being with us, Jocelyn and Tracy. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll have many more conversations, you and I, Miss Jocelyn. I adore you. All the best, risers and thrivers. Make it a great day.